Hey guys, hey Kyle, what's up? Hey Jennifer, how are you?
It's been a week.
Yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Okay.
a family
Hey Jim.
emergency on Friday.
Yeah, okay. Hey Jim, I know you're new here, right? I think you talked to Jason. I love the setup, by the way. I love the red mic. It's such a great addition.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey Alex. Oh, Alex, I remember we spoke a long time ago. How are you doing? Are you able to turn on your camera or you're gonna just have us stare at a black screen? Okay, she's maybe she just has me like around somewhere. Okay, cool. There's five other people that are joining. We just started this, by the way, like having like one-on-one call reviews. But Jennifer, if you would like to, oh, there Alex is. Cool. If anyone, Jennifer, if you want to review a call, these calls are basically for me reviewing your guys' sales calls. I know I'm with two different accounts, so just bear with me. I have like tech issues. But Alex, C, George, Corey, Jim, anyone has a sales call, you guys want it to be reviewed, just drop it in the chat and I'll review it right here with everyone on the chat.
I don't have any calls to review at the moment, but
Hmm.
I have actually a friend of mine who I ran into at lunch a couple weeks ago asked me what I'm doing now, and I told her I was, in social media and advertising and digital marketing. She's like, "Oh my God, I have a friend who needs your help. She doesn't like her company that she uses, so she just called me today and dropped in my lap that it's a pretty large account. That she's like, if you can just undercut them a little bit, you'll get them. But one of the, I guess my fear is, she said they need somebody local to do all their video, and I don't have that. And so I'm looking for somebody who I would outsource that to, or how I would go about finding that. And like they need like reels and content, like for social media and all the
Yeah,
editing. And so
yeah, like social media management essentially.
mhm.
Okay, so
But a little bit more than
we're
just posting
able
3
to
days a week.
talk. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're able to talk to your client success manager about that,
No,
about
literally,
like finding the
she
person
just
to
called me like
fulfill.
2 hours ago.
Okay, that could be huge. So what I would do is I would lead into the conversation is I'd be like, look, connect me with your friend. Okay. You would essentially talk to her. And there's a few things I would want you to lead in with. First, don't sell anyone something that they don't need. If they truly need your service, then sell it to them, obviously. So first, just it's just like a discovery, like in the beginning of your sales like call, you would just ask them, hey, like, is like what's going on in your business that makes you feel like, hey, you need social media management? Like, just try to understand if you can actually help them. Because the last thing that you want is to sell someone a service that they don't need. It's not like justified to them and it's not justified to you. It's going to be much harder to sell as well. It's not something that you want to do. Really understand that first and then build up those points and then actually pitch them like what your service is. But before you even pitch them, obviously have that conversation with your client success manager if that's something that you can even do in terms of like the fulfillment on the back, and try to get like a pricing of like what you can pitch it at. But I feel like a referral from a friend could be huge. Like you could absolutely close that because the thing is that you're going away from all there's no trust objection. Like they know they it's like from a friend. So you won't have that objection at all come up. Someone dropped it in the chat right here. Boom. Okay, cool. Let me pull this up. Uh Joanna, can you drop me the code as well for the Zoom link? Yeah, because I don't have a code here. By the way, anyone else have any sales related questions while we set up the call? Just unmute if you guys have any questions. Okay.
I don't have a question, but I was just going to comment on, I'm sorry, can't see everybody on here, but you're asking about video. Like, I was just wondering, because I'm not sure if that was the question, because I know your question was more about like, how do you find video people?
Yeah.
So I was just going to be, I was just thinking out loud, like, possibly, like, I don't know what city you're in, but just kind of doing a search and then just having a conversation with someone and seeing if they could help fulfill, like, do some sort of like partnership agreement. You know what I mean? That's what I was just thinking as you were saying that. I'm
Awesome.
sure if you look for like social media content creators, they might, or a forum of something. I don't know if anyone on here does who maybe offers that service.
I know a good editor, but I just don't know anybody who would be local that could go and do like actually take the like shoot the videos,
Right.
that would get edited down.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
check. I would check Fiverr, Upwork would be a good one, and then if those two don't work, try Craigslist.
Amazing. Cool. Anyone else want to add anything, or do you guys want to go into the call review? Call review. Okay, cool. Let's go. Hold on. I need to share audio.
Yeah, I've been doing Google Paid Ads. I've been doing Google Paid Ads since 2010. Started off with Google Paid Ads team, and then I moved to a manager of our SEO team. And it's given me a good depth on how Google operates. I also helped set up the social media team, but that was way long ago. Things have totally changed since then. So that area has changed a lot, right? And so I've been trying to keep up with everything over there. It's just a lot dealing with Facebook and Instagram, and then Pinterest and Snapchat and everything else, TikTok and everything else that's going on over there, right? There's just a lot. So we have a separate team that does just that as well.
So quick ninja tip right there. That's his true like fear right there. Like handling Facebook, handling Instagram, handling LinkedIn. So you'd be like, yeah, wow. Yeah, I definitely hear you. I understand exactly what you mean. Just throwing that in there, because the things that, have you ever seen, okay, this is a weird example, so everyone bear with me here, but have you listened to music like a rap song? You know how in the back there's like ad libs where the person's
Hey,
like,
Mo,
yeah,
Mo?
go ahead.
I'll stop you for a minute. That's not who we're selling to. That's part of our fulfillment team. So
That's
the
the
beginning of
fulfillment
this
team?
call got slightly cut off. Yeah. So the beginning of this call got slightly cut off.
Okay.
This is
so he's going
our sales
into.
guys.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. I thought you're taking the call. Okay.
So
That makes sense.
I'm
Okay,
on
cool.
the call. I'm on the call, but this is one of my sales guys. So he does more of the technical explanations.
Yeah.
Things like
So let me ask you this. With you being on the call and him being on the call as well, why did you guys go in with that approach with two people and then have the client as in like one client? Doesn't it feel like it's like 2v1? Wouldn't the client feel like he's being like double teamed? They would feel bad.
No, not because I do very little of the talking. Again, he does a lot more of the explaining the technical aspects of the services that we're offering, and then you'll see. If we get in long enough, you'll see where I jump in and kind of like my job is kind of like to hit the pain points and tie the services that he's recommending to what the client, why the client should take advantage of them.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let's go throughout the call, and then because I've never seen this before. I've never had like two people on the same call, but let's see how it goes. But yeah, that makes sense. That makes more
George,
sense.
is this the second call? Did you already have a call with this client and then you got them on a second call with you and your sales guy?
Correct. So I do a discovery call one-on-one, and then we get the information that we need from them or whatever. We create a marketing health analysis, or basically a competitor analysis, and then it's basically a tool that we use to basically show the client, look, we did our research. We have all the numbers to support our reasoning here. And then, so what he does at this point is explain it to him and present it to the prospect.
But you've set the expectation on the first call that they're going to go into a second call like this with two people.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine then. Yeah, that makes sense.
But just basically, I've worked with a lot of clients. And now what I'm doing now is talking to people like yourselves, giving them tips and tricks and pointers, and giving them a strategy that will get them results. And then, of course, if we can help you out with that, fantastic. We'll be more than happy to go ahead and continue that conversation there. My goal is to just give you as much value as possible and show you the kind of direction I see based on not just my experiences, but also with the research and the data that I have for you. Okay. My first question I have for you is, how is the Wix paid ads going?
They're going pretty decent. I get a lot of people that Google like spa near me, facial near me, Botox near me. Those seem to be pulling pretty good, but I want more.
Okay. So you're getting a lot of the near me type keywords?
Yeah.
Good for Wix. I don't like Wix, so just bear with me. I've taken lots of clients that were using Wix and doing much better for a lot cheaper. Wix's platform, the way they do it is kind of weird. They outsource it to another company. It's not Wix themselves. It's actually doing the ads. Do they make you create a landing page or another website for you on a different domain?
No, I don't think we did that.
No. Okay. They used to. I've had lots of clients where it's like, oh, they created another landing page for me. It's a completely different domain. So they're actually sending all the traffic back to your own.
George, you know this better than anyone else on this call because you hired him. But does he do a lot of like teaching on the calls?
Some he does, because again, a lot of this stuff is technical, and most prospects aren't very well versed in what, the details of digital marketing. So he'll do some of that. This guy is a little bit more verbose than our other sales guy. He likes to get into the weeds. But you'll see, he brings it back.
Own website, is that correct? You have an ad? Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. At least they changed that part. Not sure when they did that. But okay. How much are you spending with them?
600 right now a month.
600 a month. And are you paying them directly the ad spend?
It comes out of my Wix account. So, I mean, that's who I have my website through. So it just comes out of there.
And including the ad spend that you're paying Google. Is that right for the ads?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me let you know how Google Ads works. Okay. So in order to run Google Ads, you need to have an ads account. Okay. Typically, and the correct thing to do is the person that's the company, like yourself, right? You own your own Google Ads account. Your credit card is attached to that. You own it, and you can have access to anybody else and go in there and manage it for you. Okay. That's how we have it set up. And that's kind of like how it's designed to do. There's different users and different manager levels that you can have access to.
Yeah, I would say that I would definitely drop the teaching aspect, because the things that you're putting in her place where she doesn't really she doesn't care about this. And what I mean by that is that she's hiring a marketing agency to do this for her. And like, if you tell her about the users, you tell her about this, it could scare her off. He may tie it down really well towards the end. I'm not sure, but from my selling experience, I wouldn't teach too much. I'd tone it down a little bit. So I just tell them that, hey, this is what the service is. This is how this would help you. And obviously you're doing the discovery to understand their pain points, but I wouldn't teach them, especially in the discovery. I would not teach them right away, because this is your chance to learn everything about them rather than teaching them something. That could be towards more of the pitch. Cool.
I have a question on that, Mo.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question though is, like in this case, it sounds like she is paying Wix for the ad spend, and that's usually not what we want people, where we want people, because they don't then have ownership of their own ad account. So I know that's how I got a client, is because they were not informed that they didn't have access to their ad account, and that they, that somebody was doing this to them, and that they didn't, like if they parted ways with that company, that they don't have their assets. So wouldn't that be a benefit that he's sharing that information?
Absolutely. However, you don't teach them how to do it. You teach them why and how it's important, but not how to actually go out and fix it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Because that's what they're paying you for. They're paying you to fix that. But yeah, share less in terms of that.
All the companies, though, to keep things easy for themselves and to make it sticky for them, so you won't leave them, is they will manage your ads for you in their own ads account. Okay. You don't own anything. If you were to leave Wix, you lose all the ads that you've ever done, all the history that you've done, all the account history that you've done, you lose all of that. Okay. And you're paying them directly. So you don't actually get to see exactly what goes to your ad spend. Okay. You're only spending $600 a month. Is that including management and the ad spend?
I believe so. My daughter-in-law set it up, and I told her to put that much on it. And I try to not go in there as much as possible until like 3 months later to see things. But
Fair enough. It's not, and to be honest with you, in the grand scheme of things, I know it's a lot of money. $600 is nothing to sneeze at, but it's not a lot of money when it comes to marketing, especially when it comes to ads. Okay.
Yeah.
So as long as you're getting an ROI, and for that amount of money, it's okay. It's, you're doing okay. As long as you're getting that return on your investment, as long as the amount of traffic that you're getting and the amount of conversions that you're getting is equal to the amount of what you're paying for, above equal to the amount that you're paying for, you need that return on that investment there. Okay. $600 a month is not that much, especially if you're paying for the management fee and the ad spend. We like to keep things separate. If you just pay us the management fee, you have your own credit card attached to Google, and you know exactly what's going to Google for your ads, and you know exactly what you're paying the company to manage it for. Okay. That's how we like to have things set up. Again, you're not spending a whole lot of money there. That's fine as long as you're getting the ROI there. Okay. Interestingly, that they're going after the near me type keywords. Those are the low hanging fruit keywords, meaning those should be easy to grab. A couple interesting metrics. Near me keywords, I like to go after. Actually, almost all your keywords are what we consider local keywords. Are you familiar with that?
You see how he's teaching too much? Does that make sense? Where he's going a little bit too much, like you wouldn't want to teach that much. Like, and also another thing, actually, he mentioned the product. Like in the discovery phase, and this goes for everyone. This is gonna be huge for you guys because I've seen some of your guys' calls. Never mention anything about yourself, about your business in the discovery phase. Don't say anything about it. And if, I know you guys are running a 2-call close. Towards the end of the discovery, obviously, kind of you want to tell them a little bit, like a 30,000 foot overview, so you can book in the second call. But when you're asking the question, don't say anything about your product. We're like, hey, we can help you in terms of this. Just leave it. Truly understand that person where he's at and what he needs help with. Because if you care about if the prospect feels like you care about him more than he cares about himself, they'll give you the money. Like it's just like that. Do you have something to say, George?
Yeah, just so you know, this is not the discovery call. This is the second. We've already had the discovery call.
Absolutely.
This is the demo.
Yeah. However, he's asking questions here. You understand? Like if you're going to ask questions at this certain, like you want to go right into the pitch. If you're going into a pitch call, you want to go directly into the pitch. You can obviously tie it down, but don't ask questions right then and there. Does that make sense?
No, I don't think I'm really sure. What do you mean?
Yeah. So there's 2 calls that you're going into, right? The first call is the discovery, right? You guys have already done that. You've personally done that. When you're going into the pitch call, the person is already she's been asked these questions before, right? You've asked her these questions before. So she just wants to hear what you guys can actually provide for her. So go directly into it. Because right now he's asking her questions and he's still like pitching her at the same time. It's like a weird mix. What I would do is if I have a pitch call, like a second call, I'm walking to that call and I'm like, hey, you told us that you mentioned that you had a problem with this. This is how we can help you. The only questions that I'm really asking is like, hey, does this make sense? Is this clear? That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking how much she's spending in her Facebook ads, her LinkedIn ads, whatever she's running. I'm not asking those questions. I'm just leading into that. Does that make sense?
Hey, Mo, would you suggest that in these types of questions be make sure that they're taken in the first call? This is the kind of stuff that should be.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is the stuff that you should know, because how are you going to create a strategy if you don't know her budget? Like, you should know this in the beginning. Don't ask her on the pitch call. You tie it in, because the thing is that everyone wants like a custom process, right? So this is how I would walk in. Adam, this is a great, like, we can do a mock call or just like a mock call on this. But this is how I would lead in. Suppose Adam's the client, right? I'd be like, okay, Adam, so me and the team, we sat down and we created a custom tailored process to your specific needs to get you from XYZ to XYZ goal, right? So creating that distance. And then you just go into it, like you go into the pitch, here's what we came up with. And then you kind of just go into, instead of asking her questions, because you should know how much she's able to spend in your budget. Anything you want to add on that, Adam?
Well, you had mentioned a little earlier about not getting so technical and not getting into so many details. Obviously, on the second call, we should be past that. So let's take this section of this call. Let's say it was in the first call, or let's say we are on the discovery call right now. When we're leaning into so many technical and details about what they're currently doing, can you give a little more direction or a little more explanation on how to approach getting so much information and detail out of them without actually exposing so much of what you're telling us, not to expose so much of our company and our processes? Yeah.
Can you rephrase it, like that question? Can you rephrase that? Just so I understand it. I just want like a different angle on it, if you could.
All right. So we're talking to this client about their Wix and their ad spend and their management costs and all of these things, but you kind of made it a point where we don't want to teach so much and don't expose so much of what we do. So how would you be approaching such detailed or such a want for such detailed information out of the client or potential client, and then at the same time not exposing yourself to opening up so much about what we do?
It's asking them. There's a few of my setters are here as well. You guys can see them. They're inside the chat. I teach them this all the time. They can vouch for this. But when you're in the discovery phase, and I'll tell you this, Adam, this is the most important like part of your call. Like the pitch doesn't even matter if you don't have a good discovery. Most of your objections will be found through like the discovery. You know this, you've been in sales, but discovery is huge. So when it comes to like asking, I think this is what your question is, but when it comes to like not exposing what you do, but still making them realize that they have a huge problem is by this. Suppose someone tells me, they are in the current company, their current marketing agency that they're working with just isn't providing, they're not profitable, or they're just not a good fit. Okay. You ask them why 3 times. This is the rule. So you ask them why 3 times, and you're like, oh, it's because I have, they're not providing me good leads. Okay. What do you mean by that? Why would you say that? Like, what are they doing? And then you start breaking it down. They're like, oh, okay. So they're running like a 0.5% to people in like Australia. That's not my like, I can't close anyone on that. Okay, that makes sense. Why are they running that? If you dive way deeper into their like pain points, and not pain points, but like if you dive into their question or their answer that they just told you, typically that's when you're able to understand like the real like circumstance. Because like if we work on an offer where it's like financial freedom, people are looking for financial freedom. Okay, like what do you mean by that? What do you mean that you want financial freedom? So I can spend more time with my kids, my family. Okay, why would you want to do that? And then they're like, oh, because I can't do that with my 9 to 5, whatever it is. That's the offer that I'm currently working on. But do you see how I'm asking? I'm not asking a completely different question. I'm on that same question, but I'm breaking it down so much that I get 4 things out of them. The first one's like the current situation, their goal, their finances, and where they're at currently. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, or is it?
Well, that makes sense. But say this client answers those questions of yours, and then we get into, okay, you know, we're clear on that. I understand that now. And then the client comes back and says, so how are you going to be different?
Sorry, someone said, so how are we going to be different? Okay.
What are you going to do to make sure no one in Australia is getting, you're not reaching out ads into Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So this wouldn't even come up if you frame the call in the beginning. So you frame the call like this. You're like, look, I'm going to ask you a few questions, kind of see where you're at and see if we can even help. And if it all makes sense, then we're going to book in a second follow-up call. And me and my team are going to create a custom game plan for you. And we'll talk about it on that second call. So in the beginning of the call, I'm telling him that. So he's not going to ask me questions. Like the person's not going to ask me questions. That's why the frame is so important. So if you frame the call from the get-go, that thing won't even come up. But if it does come up, suppose it does come up, you'd be like, look, I don't even know if I can help you. It's a pullback. You're like, I don't even know if I can help you. I have to really understand your current situation, see where you're at, and see if we can even help you first. And then just go back into your question. And again, if they really keep poking and like, hey, why, how are you guys different? Why are we going to run ads in Australia? Tell them a little bit. Don't go too deep into it. Tell them a little bit and be like, we can go into that more specifically on that second call, but throw everything onto the second call. Does that make sense?
Right. So what you're saying is you want to redirect them away from these specific details they're looking for, but keep them engaged with knowing that you have the ability to fix their problem.
Absolutely. It's like this. Why would you remember what I told Jennifer in the beginning? I was like, look, don't pitch someone that you don't know if you can actually help them. That's my number one rule. That's why ask the right questions, understand where they're at, see if they actually need your service. And look, if Adam, suppose I walk into that call and I'm just selling you right immediately. Suppose I'm like, look, this is why we're the best. This like you, I have no clue who you are. I've done no discovery. I'm teaching you why we're the best. You're gonna be like, dude, this is so salesy. Like he doesn't really care about me. Like, how do I know this is gonna actually work for me? Right? But if I'm asking the right questions, I see where you're at. And I'm like, okay, if I care more about you than you care about yourself and you feel that, that's how you're able to close the deal. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
So Mo, what I'm basically hearing, and I try to do this anyway, but the first call is going to be 100% about them or 95% about them. You'll go into yourself a little bit. This is what I do, but you're basically asking all the questions, finding out the pain point, and then bring it back to that second call to go, okay, the second call is going to be a solution to the problem that you told me. And then that second call, you go, okay, so are we still on the same page? Do you still have the same problems and you want a solution, you want to solve them? And then go into the pitch. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's right on. That's spot on. That's exactly what it is. Never combine the two unless you're on like a one call close. Like I sell on that. I sell discovery and pitch. Like I do it on the same call because it's a different offer. But for like business to business, it's strategies that are involved. It's a little bit different. That's why you guys have to split it up into two. And then I have another thing for follow-ups as well. But I can teach you guys like a 3-call close for follow-ups towards the end. Because I think this call, I think Joanna did mention that this call specifically, this went to a follow-up. So we'll see how it ended. But how to position follow-ups and how to go into the actual call with follow-ups as well. But yeah, John, that was right on. Anyone else want to add anything? Any questions so far?
That term?
I heard the phrase, yeah.
Okay. So there's national SEO and there's local SEO. There's local keywords and there's national keywords. If you're looking to buy a pizza, well, that's a local keyword. Google's smart enough to know, hey, you're going to want a pizza real close to you. So that way it gets delivered hot and fresh, right? Forgive me for comparing you to pizza, okay? Any of your keywords, they're also local. They know if you're looking for a med spa, you're looking for Botox injections, you're looking for microneedling, those are all local keywords as well, right? You're not looking for somebody 2 states away or even a county away. You're more likely going for somebody close by, okay? Now, national keywords are going to be like book sales or any kind of e-commerce type thing we can buy online or just informational type information type stuff. It's going to be on your national keywords. Those are actually driven by your website. You need to have content on your website, and Google will look at your website. They'll look at every single page on your website and go, what is this page about? And they will rank your website pages accordingly. And that's how you get rankings on a national level. Okay. Now there's local keywords. There is a little bit of an organic there to that. So yes, you can get organic rankings with your website, but those are going to be below the ads and below the map section. Are you familiar with that map section that pops up on local keywords?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That right there is going to be the biggest thing for you. Hands down. Okay. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, that will probably be the best lead driver for you, because since most of your keywords are local, any local keyword, like you look up pizza, you should pop up with a map section. You're going to have Domino's, Pizza Hut, and all those other, Papa John's and all those other pizza places that are near you, right? That map section, more than 50% of all market share of all searches, when it's a local keyword, goes to the maps. 25% goes to the ads. 50%, which I think is a little underrated, but 50% goes to the map section, and then another 25% go on down further down to the organic parts below with your website. Which means even if you're doing Google paid ads, you're only getting about 25% of the market share. Okay, not a big deal. You're paying for it as you go anyway, as long as that math works out, because that's all Google paid ads is. Okay, trust me, been doing this since 2010. It's all math. So as long as the math works out, then that's fine. But the map section is organic for local keywords, and that is not driven by your website. That is driven by Google Business Profile. Are you familiar with what that is?
No, Google what?
Google Business Profile.
Profile?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You have one. Let me share it with you. Okay. And again, if you have any questions during all this, I am happy to let you know anything and everything you want to know. Okay. Oh, where did my? It could be so much better. This right here is going to be the best lead driver for you, and you don't have to pay for it like ads do. Okay, this is ad free. Now there's another caveat to that, but I'll get to that here in a minute. But yeah, so do you have ownership of this now?
We had to create another Gmail to connect it to. So I believe so. Yes, I think it's Maggie at something aesthetic.
This is really good what he's doing. Like, this is solid. It's sharing her screen. What I even do is, if I'm trying to build a report, I don't go out of my way to build a report. It just comes like naturally, but I just take my camera and I just show them my room like this, right? Like him sharing his screen is good because it shows like, oh, he's opening up essentially. That's good. I like that a lot. But what you guys can even do is just like, be like, yeah, I'm just calling you from my room. Just like turn your camera. It drops people's guards and like, oh, wow, this guy trusts me with seeing his house. Wow. And this is like a ninja tip. But yeah, I like this. I like him sharing the screen.
It's the Gmail.
Okay, good. So you have access to it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. This is exactly what I'm going to pitch for you. Okay. Because I think this will definitely be the best lead driver for you. You have a good solid foundation now. You have 78 reviews. They're 4.9 stars. Sorry. They're 4.9 star. That's fantastic. you have a good solid foundation. You do need more reviews. Okay. The more the merrier. There is a slight possibility of a popularity contest going on with Google. Okay. So the more reviews, the better you will. But I'm sure you've looked up places before and you'll see somebody with 3,000 reviews getting beat out by the guy with 10. Okay. It's not just about reviews. It's about consistent reviews. And it's also about how relevant you are to the keyword. Okay.
To the what?
To the keyword.
To the
what
keyword.
somebody is typing in. Okay. So I typed in ever evolving like Colorado Springs, and that's when I popped this up so I can see what this looks like for you. Okay. So you have decent review count already. I want to get more. I'm sure you have a lot more clients than 78. I want to go ahead and get more for you because again, that consistent amount of reviews. When we take this over for somebody, we give them a review management tool. So that way you can upload your client list. It will text them and it will email them for a review. Okay. I like to call it referral. When you're asking for a referral, it just triggers something in somebody's head. It's to speak a different way and give you more authority within the keyword space. Okay. Are you familiar with what SEO is?
George, quick question. For him specifically, like when he pitches. Okay. Go ahead. Joanna, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So are you familiar with how he pitches, or is that George's thing?
No, I'm familiar. I've been taking most of the calls. We've just been tweaking the process and see if George gets any wins out of this.
Okay. Can you drop me your script? Like in the
Our
chat?
specific script?
Yeah, or whatever he's using. But yeah, if you could drop that just so I can like look over while he's going through, that would be huge.
Whose script? The gentleman talking or George on the discovery call?
No, on the pitch. So like Marty, yeah.
No, he goes off of this is his thing. It's just the thing is with our fulfillment team, they feel the people out. So it might not be something where ads would work for them. You know, that's why some of these questions are being asked on these calls, because they've been doing this for so many years that it's like we might be asking certain things on our discovery calls and they'll actually let us know, 5 minutes before our meeting start, like, yeah, we looked over this, and this. Yeah, that doesn't look good. The importance really is, say, like this person, their GBP. It's crap. Getting ads for them right now would make no sense when people can't even search for them. Something like that. So asking some of these questions like he does, it actually is like, you know what, they should really start with this.
Yeah,
there's
that's
really kind of no script. Yeah, that's why some of the feel
I
out.
Understand.
He's feeling them out as well.
Yeah, I get that. That's what I would say is it's a little bit weird having two people on the call because Marty, correct me if I'm wrong, but Marty wasn't on the first call, right? It was just George.
No, on the first call, it's just George or I just doing that, that discovery phase of, hi, this is who we are. What are your problems? How long you've been open? What is your budget? Yeah. How many employees do you have?
Yeah. So,
so how many clients are you seeing roughly now?
This kind of goes against my sales methodology, but why should they trust Marty now? Because he's another face in the picture. Like the discovery phase, not only are you learning about the person, but you're also building rapport, right? So if George pitched it, he has authority to pitch it. They have authority to make a decision on him because, hey, he went out and he listened to it. I do get Marty's from your team. I do get that, but that's just something to look at. But I would definitely, and another thing is that I would definitely have a script. I would, and it's probably against his style, but on a sales call review, I would definitely recommend having a script because the things that, you're freestyling it, but it's not going to hit the same if you have a script. Because the thing is that from the script, you're not going to miss a point. You're reading the script. I read all my scripts, by the way. Obviously, I change the tonality. I make it land really well. But every call that I have and all the closers that I have under me, I have 16 closers for all my offers. They're all under one specific script. They're all looking at one script. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. I can't say that he doesn't have a script, but he does follow a certain pattern.
Framework.
He'll start by asking them. Yes, he has a framework. He'll ask certain questions. He'll go into, showing them their GBP. He'll say, hey, kudos, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. If it seems great. And then he'll move on to the next topic where he'll go over a competitor analysis, because we do ask them if they do see any competitors, you know, do they have any? Some people tell me they don't, and I'm like, that's a lie. Everybody usually has somebody there like looking at, you know? So we show them what their competitors are doing and be like, look, we can make you better than this. Look, they're killing it out there. They're like a shark right now and you're a minnow. You know, we show them these words, they're these PPCs. And then from there, if it goes even further, you know, we would show them how they're looking on like a map when people are searching for them. So I mean, he does have a framework.
He does go into that. He does go into that. It took a little longer than normal to get into that, but it is coming up.
It happens, yeah. Okay, that makes more sense to me. Okay, and I love the fact that it's custom to that specific person. One like key takeaway is just keep using that word. Be like, hey, we custom tailor this process to you, and we saw that XYZ. We saw that, hey, the maps, right? The 3 frameworks. Just keep using that. Make them feel like they're special. But that's good. I like that. And I love the fact that he's sharing the screen. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Cool. But Mo, I do agree with you. Like, I want to cut him back from teaching so much. But at the same time, I feel that it is helpful because it shows we have authority in it. We know what the hell we're talking about. Like, that's why I feel like some of that teaching does help.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I totally agree. However, I feel like she's getting spooked. Like, what do you think, Adam? I feel like she's getting spooked a little bit where she's getting too much information.
I haven't been able to really read her too much yet from what we've seen. But one thing I was going to ask or suggest is Marty opposed to being on the discovery call? Because it sounds like Marty's actually going to pull a lot of the information and a lot of the things out from his teachings, which you could still roll back some or reel back some on him. But actually, if there's a way to, and I know that's kind of not the expectation to set right off the bat, but just kind of what I'm hearing from your direction, Mo, and what I'm hearing Marty and everything, sounds like he's getting a lot of stuff from her right now that you would want on the discovery call. So you're set up for the second call to walk in with a pitch and a delivery and trying to close a deal on the second call.
Yeah. That's exactly, like, I would definitely look into that, having him on that first call as well.
So if he's not opposed to being on that call, and you could actually then kind of, I'm not a script fan either. I'm trying to get used to the whole script thing. But having the framework and then what Marty's knowledge and expertise seems to really be in understanding of these pieces and things, I think you'd be able to pull those pain points and questions, and he would, if you could sit him back a little and just let him kind of jump in at those right points to kind of diffuse some of their doubts or worries while they're giving you their pain points, and you'd be able to say, oh, no, don't, you know, I know that they're doing that for you right now. We have a whole other custom way that works much better for the business, not for the marketer, and then pull back again and let you go back and discover more.
So what I would say to that is part of it, I put the blame on myself because I need to do a better job at the discovery call of getting the information, the important information from that. You know, I try my best, but it's a work in progress here. And at the same time, Marty does like to rehash a lot, because even the information that I put out, that I give him from the discovery call, he'll go back and look, let me get more information on this portion of it. And then he'll, you know, kind of rehash it.
You know, what you just said right there, actually,
going back to
what you just said right there, maybe have Marty help you write the discovery call framework. Get in Marty's head more and be like, look, how much of what information can I give you and get you before we get on this call, so you don't feel like you have to do so much teaching and coaching and guiding? How much do you want me to pry and poke and get in there on the first call? So when you and I talk before the second call, I'm feeding you so much information that you and I can go into our second call and just get a little closer and a little quicker to the pitch.
No, I think that's fair.
So
but to go back to the original question, I think by the end of this call, I think it was a really, really good call. Like, as far as like I got the impression we can close this person by the end of the week.
Okay.
But maybe I'm reading it wrong, but
No, absolutely. You definitely probably can. I mean, yeah, if you feel that confident, absolutely. I mean, it can happen, but units in, right? Like getting more units. It won't work for everyone. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would definitely go back. If you can send me your script as well for your discovery, if you have one, that'd be good too, because I can help you tweak a few things, throw in a few more questions. And what we can even do, and this goes for everyone, if you guys ever need me, just drop in the chat in your own Slack channel, and we'll have like a one-on-one conversation, and I can like create your guys' scripts for you. I can help in that. But yeah, we can keep going on. Look, George, when do you think he drops the price? Like throughout the whole call?
He
Do you
doesn't
know
have a
what minute?
set time. It's just kind of like where he feels it would work best. He does drop it in here a couple times, and he does give her the options, based on, how long the term is going to be,
Yeah. Term. What do you mean by term?
the contract length.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So he gives her options like, hey, you can do 3 months, you can do 6 months, you can do 12.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Why not lead in with one? Have you guys tried that before? You and Joanna?
We learned kind of the hard way. We don't
Okay.
want to do we don't want to do the 3-month deal anymore because our one client or whatever, they canceled their service with us because I think it was maybe we did a bad job of setting the expectations. But I mean, they were expecting like, all right, we're going to pay you, but we need clients yesterday. And it's like, look, this is a process, and if we're lucky, if things go the way, they could go, we could start seeing clients by, 3 months, but then definitely by 6 months, you're really going to see the effect of what we're doing here and stuff. And they just signed up for 3 months. Long story short, they didn't see the results they expected after 3 months, and they quit.
Okay, so you guys feel like it would be easier for fulfillment process if it was more than 3 months? Yeah, so I would say, and I've tested this as well, but I would say like when you're talking to someone, it's better to just guide them rather than let them make the decision themselves. And obviously the whole decision, like if they're going to join you or not, it's their decision. So I'm not saying hard close them. What I mean by that is like lead in with one specific offer for that one specific person as detailed as possible. So it'll be like, look, it's going to be $5,000 every single month for 6 months, and just drop it there, right? Not saying it's $5,000 for 6 months, or you can do $5,000 for 3 months, or you could even do like $5,000 for 12 months, whatever you feel like is better. No, you're the expert. You decide for them. And then if they give you an objection, they're like, $5,000 every month for 6 months. I feel like I just can't do that. Is that the only thing that's holding us back? Is it just the finances? Is it just the 5K? Yeah, okay. What if we just did it for 3 months? And then obviously change the strategy into it, whatever it is. But like, I would lead in with one specific thing. I've sold on this offer too. I would just lead in with one. I would lead in with 12 months and then I would temp check them, see where they're at, and then drop it down if needed. But I mean, your PIF rate, as in like paying fulls, and your contract value within like the whole 12 months is going to be much higher. And you're going to have the client for longer if you lead in with one. But just test it, because it doesn't work for all offers. I'll tell you that. It doesn't work for everyone. So just test that. But yeah. Anyone else want to add anything on that? No, we're good. Okay, cool. Let's skip to like right here. I want to see, George, do you know by any chance when he started like objection handling?
There were very little objections, if any.
Okay, so how did the call end?
That we gave him the choice. So like basically, so do you prefer 3, 6 or 12? And I did jump in to say, look, just to say I want to under promise and over deliver. I don't want to say that, even though Marty feels confident, you can start seeing results after 3 months. I would feel a lot more comfortable, with the 6 months, because after 3 months, you're going to start, hopefully you're going to start to see things. But in order for you to really see the effect of what we've been doing or what we've been building at 6 months, it makes more sense. But when we started framing it like that, so what do you prefer, like 6 months or 3 months? At first, she was like 3 months. So when you say as a prospect, and you already vision, oh, well, I think 3 months makes more sense for me, you're already sold at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that gave me like, she's in there. She just, at the end was kind of like, well, let me kind of double check with, my bookkeeper, whoever that might be, maybe it's her daughter-in-law, whatever the case may be, to make sure it makes sense. But she gave very little pushback. She appreciated the information that Marty gave. She said she took notes and everything.
Okay, and then when did you schedule the follow-up call?
So the follow-up call was set up tentatively for this Friday. But I sent her a proposal. I sent her the contract. So if she's ready to go, she can go ahead and sign.
Okay, interesting. So would you be opposed to doing like a role play with me? Like suppose I was her and you were the closer and I gave
Sure.
you the objection. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Try my best.
Yeah, and this is just to like work, just so you can train Marty as well. But I want to see like how you would handle that objection, so we can tweak a few things if needed. If not, I mean, like you want to obviously keep the relationship up with them, so you don't want to like hard close them. But let's just see what happens, right? So, yeah, George, I feel like you guys are really good at what you guys do. However, I just need to check in with my bookkeeper.
No, I understand how you feel. Everything, when it comes to making business decisions, you shouldn't just make them on a whim. You should definitely have the research, which I'm going to do. I'm going to take, so the report that Marty showed you today, I'm going to include in the email. I'm going to include that as well as the proposal for the Google Business Profile optimization service that we've been discussing. And I'll also, I'll throw in the paperwork just so you see, so we're crystal clear and there's no funny business or what have you. You're going to see the paperwork, all the fine print. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me at any point.
Okay, cool. So you see how her objection was bookkeeping, like she has to go back to her bookkeeper. So you ask her this. Now I want you to change that approach first, okay? Because we want to really see, I'll tell you this, George, this is a cruel world. People will lie to you. Like she may not even be checking with the bookkeeper. She may just be thinking on it. She may not even have the finances. We really need to understand what the objection is. I get lied to 24/7. Right? So what we want to understand is this. You're like, okay, so you want to talk to your bookkeeper. So let's leave finances aside, right? The process itself. How do you feel in the process? Double tie down on that. Like, how do you feel in the process? Do you feel like it would work? What were your key takeaways on the process? You truly believe this would work for you, right? Cool. Typically, they may have an underlying objection on the process and they just bring it up, right? They just bring it up. And they're like, I love the process, but I don't know, maybe I may need some support, but I'm not sure. But that was the actual objection that was there. And then you go in there and just slam it down, slam the objection, destroy it. And then she feels better. And then you ask her again. You're like, okay, so when you want to talk to your bookkeeper, what are you going to talk to her about, right? Just understand that, first of all. Typically, it's supposed to be finances, right? But she may even say something along the lines, because this actually happened to me a few weeks back. I got the same objection. And I asked her, like, what is it that you want to talk to your husband about? And then she was like, oh, if this is even going to work. But she told me in the beginning that it was just for finances, right? But if this is going to even work. So this means that she's not bought into the process. She doesn't believe the process is going to work. That means we messed up on the pitch and we need to go back and fix that. So when she tells you that, hey, I need to go talk to my bookkeeper, you're like, okay, so what are you going to talk to her about? And if she just says something like finances, then you're like, okay, is it just finances that's holding you back and like you're obviously like moving forward today? Is that the only thing? Do like 3 tie downs on it, because typically if you ask, this happens to me all the time. If I ask that, it's like, hey, is finances the only thing that's holding us back from shaking hands and getting started today? And the person's like, yeah, but I feel like right now is not the best time to start. Something like that. That's the real objection. Then you ask her why. why is it not the best time to start? Look at your reviews. Look, you need more reviews. You're losing business because of this, whatever it is, handle the objection. But I would say dive a little bit deeper into like why she's saying she needs to talk to her bookkeeper, because the real objection may be hidden in between. Or she may need to speak to her husband, right? There's so many different things. And then what you can even do is you're like, okay, cool. So if it's a husband objection, be like, yeah, why don't you just have him come onto the call for the follow-up call, like the call on Friday, have him come onto the call as well. So now you're fighting his objections as well, because the thing is that when there's a bookkeeper, when there's a wife, spouse, whatever, that those type of objections, or like a financial guru, investment like holder objection, they're always going to go in there and try to find a way not to do this. That's just how it is, because they weren't on the call. They'll try to find a way to not do this. So you go into that call and be like, dude, just bring them onto the call. Bring them onto the follow-up call, and then you can handle their objection as well. If you need to do a whole new repitch, do that. But I would say don't let them just give you an objection and just don't eat it. Really understand. John, you have something to say? You just unmuted.
Yeah. So I agree with you on what you're saying. The psychological response, like we don't give the right answer until 5 questions in, right? If you want to look at psychology. What I would say is, if you're going to go this approach, George, and I could be completely wrong, but as far as like other agents will bring me on as an expert after the first meeting, right? That's not going to be a 2-meeting close. So what I would say is handle those objections in that first meeting. And like what Mo said, where, oh, I got to talk to my bookkeeper. Okay, perfect. The second meeting, I'm going to bring in my expert. He's going to go over the strategy, the custom strategy for your company. Bring in your bookkeeper to make sure all this jives well. Does that sound fair? And then you're going to have a 3-meeting close. So don't expect a 2-meeting close out of this, because the next meeting is going to be more questions. Bring in like, and if they do say a bookkeeper, I'm a huge fan of saying like, hey, I completely agree. What I want to do is I'm partnering with you to be part of your team. So your accountant, your whoever, right? I'm going to be a part of that team. So bring them on, because we can't play basketball like Kobe Bryant and I'll just be the one person.
That's fire. I love that. That's really good. And actually, George, this objection came up because the discovery you should have figured this out in the discovery. And what I mean by that is you could be like, hey, are you the decision maker? I'll help you with the script. Like just text me on Slack. I'll hop on a call with you and Joanna. And again, anyone else in their Slack channels, just drop. I'm going to start doing these weekly, but if I have some time over the weekend or even like late at night, I'll go in your script and just like tweak a few things. But this question should have been resolved in the discovery call, just like how John said. So like, suppose you did find out that she does have a husband who also influences the decision. Like, just join the second call. So in the pitch, you won't even get the objection, because the pitch, you're pitching the husband as well, right? Then and there, so it's like they can't run, right? They're right there on the call. You have nothing to do but to either tell you to like leave or yes or no, essentially. Because I'm sure you guys have dealt with this, because you and Joanna have been closing, but people ghost you guys, right? Like people don't join the follow-up call, or they just ghost in like 2 to 3 days after the second call. That happens all the time. But if you can set the right expectation, you'll be fine. Obviously, you won't get everyone, but you'll get some. You'll get more people, essentially. But yeah, does that make sense, George? Was that helpful?
No, absolutely, it was. I mean, now I'm kind of like kicking myself. Like I said, like, yeah, I should have taken that opportunity to be like, hey, all right, so if, we'll put money aside for now, but does this make, does, this service or, that we showed you, does it make sense? Do you feel that it would benefit you? Something like that. And get their feedback that way. I think that's good.
Yeah. Tie down on the process. Do you feel like the process would actually work for you? Do you like the process? What was the key takeaways? Another thing that you can do is this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you want to leave this call right now, right? And 10 being this is exactly what you need. Where do you feel like you fall on that 1 to 10, right? It's just a temp check. You're understanding where they're at. If they say a 5, why so low, right? I poured out my heart for you. Like, well, why so low? And then you get the real objection. They're like, I feel like in 3 months, it's not possible. I can actually achieve this in 3 months. I need more time. That's the real objection, right? And then another one is that if they say, oh, it's like a 9, okay, why so high? Now they're going to tell you all the good things about the process, and they're just selling themselves. Does that make sense?
It's gold, man. It's gold.
Yeah, and I'll write you guys a script.
So also with that, you want them to make it their idea, but you should do that in the first call. Like, you shouldn't even have a second call if it's not their idea. Like, don't bring in the expert, don't do anything. If it's not their idea by the end, like, they're talking to you for a reason, right? They need help. There's pain points. So you should direct those questions to those pain points and have them go, well, of course I need Google SEO and better, more reviews. And they'd be like, okay, perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my expert on our next meeting. And he's going to go over all this. And any questions, any concerns, he is the guy.
That's perfect. I have another call coming up right now. Let me just delay it by 5 minutes. Let me let them know. So I can stay on. By the way, any other questions from anyone? Everyone's an expert.
On the discovery, I'm going to ask one question. On the discovery call, like, how should I really be asking, what is your marketing budget? Because some people don't really want to come out with that. They're just trying to be like, hey, I'm on this call. Who are you? What do you have to offer me? Because you're the one that wants to talk to me, kind of thing. Because I've been trying to go around it by asking them how many employees they have, because that shows me how much you're able to pay people, to actually be working for you. If it's only you and your husband or you and your wife, then you don't have that much money coming in. But if you have a team of 6 people, you got some dough. Like, so how can I really phrase it so I can get more of a budget?
I have a really good one for you here. It's a good question that I use on almost every sales call. But first, I think about their goal, right? So I'm like, okay, so what's your goal? Like, where are you trying to take your business to? And they tell me, oh, I'm trying to take it to 100 grand a month. Okay. How far are you off of that right now? And they're like, oh, I'm at 10 grand a month. But you see how I never asked them how much like money they're making? I'm just asking them, like, how far are you off of that currently? And they're like, I'm $90,000 off of that. So, okay, cool. They're at 10 grand right now. I'm like, okay, so obviously you're scaling your business. Have you set aside like a marketing budget for that? And they're like, yeah, I have. Okay, cool. What is it? Boom. I would leverage that. And Joanna, and the next one, let's do a role play. Because actually, if you guys can bring a discovery call for the next session, and if you guys want, you guys can vote. I can do 2 of these a week if you guys wanted, like, if that helps, because there's a sales constraint. If you guys need help in the sales side, I can have 2 of these sales call reviews every week. But Joanna, does that help that question where you go into their goal and then you drop it down to like see their current situation? And then you kind of like understand where they're at, and then you kind of like formulate that question of like, hey, what's your marketing budget? Does that make sense?
It does, because it makes me think back at their goal that they're lacking in some point.
Sorry, say that again.
It does, because it makes me kind of think back at their goal, the first question. Like, oh, well, how much, how much them off marketing? It's like, well,
it catches them off guard in a good way, because it's a reverse engineering. Instead of asking, hey, John, like, how much money do you have? Instead of asking something like that, you can be like, okay, so what's your goal? Okay, how far are you off of that? It's reverse engineering to understand like their current situation. And they're like, yeah, I'm at 10K a month. Okay, cool. So you're $90,000 off of your actual goal. Okay, so we need to scale. So how much have you set aside to actually scale your business to get to 90 grand a month or whatever it is? And again, you're not asking like what your marketing budget is or anything like that, because the thing is that they're going after their goal. So it's not like you're taking their money. It's like you're going after their goal. But yeah, guys, I do have to run. I have a call in 4 minutes. If you guys have any other questions, concerns, I'm in your Slack channels. Shoot me a message. I have setters as well. If you guys ever want to be connected with a setter to have call reviews from my own sales team, my sales reps or my closers, they can come in and review your calls for you. But if you guys want, tell your client success manager that you guys want Mo on for two days out of the week. I'll happily do that for you guys. But other than that, is there anything else I can help you guys with? No? We're good? Amazing. All right, guys, keep crushing it. Take care of yourself, and we will chat next week unless you guys want to have another one this week. All right, guys? Take care. Bye.